What's up, my man?
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good.
So we did the first shoot. This is the first time I filmed this, and we shot first. We shoot after, but
I am honored to be a part. Thank you for having me.
We killed it.
Yes.
We killed it. That was like a whole Tom Ford ad
Literally.
and then a little portrait at the end. So that was sick.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
You feeling good?
Yes, sir.
You feeling?
How
You need a drink?
feeling?
You need
I could
something?
take one.
You want one?
Yeah, I would definitely take
I don't have a ton, but
Sure, I'll take a little wine or something.
you want a little wine or something?
Yeah.
Get you some. I'll get you a fucking. You want some peach or you want some strawberry?
Yeah. Strawberry. Strawberry.
Someone gave me this, so we'll see how this. I'm not sure how good it is, but I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, I'll let you know. And 2 shots of vodka.
Yeah, right. I've never been a vodka guy as much. I used to drink vodka more than.
You seen that the video, that Vine TikTok, where they're like 2 shots of vodka?
Oh man, it's like a
Yeah,
fuck. It's just a. It's
the
like a
Kermit the
pouring
Frog.
for like 15 seconds
Hell
of pouring.
yeah.
Let's have a little bit of strawberry juice.
This is good.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
My first guest, or not my first guest, but my first guest that was on this setup was cheers, man.
Yes, appreciate you.
Gave me this and oh, it is good.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
Sweet.
And it's like juice.
Yeah, that's the type of juice I like. You gotta look at it. Read
That's
the
dangerous.
ingredients. It definitely is.
Oof. But it's like you can just drink it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Hard alcohol is like
Yeah.
what we when you drink like in college and stuff. But that's
Yeah, I'm past that.
as you get older, you're kind of like, let's get the stuff that just gets you drunk, but it tastes like
Right.
a nice
Like a
fruity
popsicle.
little drink.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So why don't you tell everybody, your name, where you're from and stuff?
I am Tynan Leachman. I am from Chicago, Illinois, and I am 24 years old, and I turn 25 this Saturday.
Very nice. Happy
Yes.
birthday.
Thank you.
You'll already be 25 by the time this comes out, but
Yes. Oh,
but nice. Yeah, very cool.
cool.
So we met a while back, just DM'd on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and started shooting together
Absolutely.
here when you were in town.
Yes.
And you were living back then at the time? Were you living here? Or you were coming back and forth?
Yeah, I was flying back and forth, Chicago to here, so I'm definitely very grateful, very thankful to be here. I love the weather. I love all the people and the opportunities that I've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're signed with an agency here?
Yes, I am signed with 2 Management here. My mother agency is in Chicago, 10 Management.
Very cool.
Yes.
And so there I was telling you to open up.
Yes, my personality. A lot of people want to know what's to Tynan Leachman, what a little bit more of my background is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, yeah. So we've been friends for a few. I mean, obviously, I don't really count COVID, but I mean, if we do
Yeah,
count, it's been a couple
COVID
years. But
yeah.
yeah, man, like it's good to have you on and just kind of
Thank you for having
get to
me.
know you better because I've known you just through work, but
Yeah.
not actually through, your actual where you're from and stuff. So,
Absolutely.
what's it like growing up in Chicago?
Cold, very cold. When it's not warm, but
You were just saying it's cold earlier
yeah,
in Southern California.
Yeah, generally run pretty cold, but no, I mean Chicago's a great place. I love being there. I love my family who's from there. I'll always have a big part of me that's Chicago.
Yeah.
I can never really get rid of that, but yeah, Chicago is, I think, probably one of the best places to grow up. It teaches you how to maneuver in different places, just
What part of Chicago?
suburbs,
Okay.
southwest suburbs. So nothing as far as the city life. I do have city life here, but
Yeah.
it's definitely an adjustment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's different.
yeah,
Everyone says that when they come to LA.
yeah. A
And
little bit slower.
A little bit, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, especially where you were,
Yeah,
where you were
definitely
versus
a
where you
little
are.
slower. Mhm.
There's parts of LA that they're busier, but they're not. It's never a city.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
a New
not
York. It's not a Chicago.
put together.
It's a very
melting pot.
it's a very big city though,
Mhm.
in terms of physically distant.
Yeah,
So having to go from Chicago, I remember we went. that was the funny story about that, right? The first time I went to Chicago, it was for Chris Brown. And you were at that concert, right?
Yes.
So we met,
kind
kinda.
Yeah.
But it was
Through
years
fate.
before. Yeah, it was years before. And that was my first time in Chicago.
Yeah.
That whole little trip. We had done, this was a long time ago, but we had done a brand. We were working with a brand that was sponsoring a Chris Brown concert. So, we were in the same room years before we met. So it's kind of funny.
How life
That's
works
such a
like
small coincidence,
Absolutely.
But so you grew up in the suburbs of Chicago.
Yes.
And what was that like?
It was pretty normal for me. I grew up loving sports. First of all, that was my pretty much main focus, priority.
What'd you play?
Football. I played football for about, say, a little over 10 years.
What'd you play?
Receiver.
Yeah, you're tall.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Definitely lanky.
Yeah.
A little bit more of a
muscular but lanky.
Yeah, athletic build still. And I think that, Yorkville, Chicago, that's where I grew up, Yorkville, small little town. Taught me everything that I needed to know. Definitely brought me where I needed to be. And it's interesting seeing how the different segments of my life played a role in what I need today.
Yeah.
In order to complete my job.
What do you mean by that? Like the discipline?
The discipline, the professionalism, just more or less having to do something for multiple hours and just sort of remain focused. I think that sports, does teach you a lot of that discipline.
And what age was that? Were you playing Pop Warner kind of football, or were you playing?
Yeah, I played Pop Warner football. I played basketball a bit before that, but Pop Warner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you went to school out there. You grew up out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to college at Eastern Illinois.
Okay.
Went to college in North Carolina before that. Transferred to Eastern Illinois.
What was that like? You went out of state first and then came back home, or?
Yeah, I went out of state first. As a 17, 18-year-old coming out of college, I felt like I was a grown up. I could do anything on my own. And,
oh yeah.
The world is real.
Yeah.
And your family's real, and the people who you love, you have to hold them close. And when they're not as close to you, it's a little bit colder of a world. So I think that was probably like my first quote unquote experience in which I felt like I jumped too far, and I came a little bit closer to home, and I went to EIU, and
come a little closer too.
Oh yeah.
You can scoot the whole chair in if you want.
Cool. Yeah, I went to EIU, and it was great. I didn't even really have as much of a problem with the schooling.
Did you play football there too? Or
yes, I did.
Okay.
I transferred there from my old school with intent and the credentials to play football. It just wasn't something that I felt like I loved at the end of the day. I remember like my last play, like I caught a pass like on the sideline, and I just felt like I did all I needed to do.
Yeah.
And from there, like I stopped playing football. I let my coaches know my decisions, and they knew that I had some opportunities with modeling in the past. It was always some football jokes. Coaches would always Google my name and see that I had done some modeling in the past. So after I had, weighed out my options, I definitely decided to go with modeling, and I'm very happy with my decision.
Yeah. So how did you get discovered, so to speak?
I got discovered by a photographer in Michigan, actually, and he recommended that I do a photo shoot when I was about 14, 15, and I was just like, absolutely not. This is not the direction in which my life will ever go. I'm going to be in the NFL, and there's nothing else to that. And you lose a lot of your love at that level of the game in college, and I think that that's evidently what happened to me, and just I don't know. I think that everything happens for a reason. When I look back on it, like I remember I literally tweeted like a screenshot of his DM saying that I should model, and I was just like, oh no, absolutely not. Like, who paid him to send this? Like,
Right.
And look at me now. So
Yeah, you're full-time, paid, and everything.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
a lot to wrap my head around. Very grateful. But
No, that's the funny thing about that is like that is so common,
Yeah.
especially as a photographer now. Like just reaching out to people or seeing people that I'm like, oh, you'd be. It's like a weird. It's like they're almost like, what do you mean? Like it's like a guarded thing where I'm like
I'm offended a little
it's
bit.
a little bit of like a. I've had people before where I'm like, you should do like, if you ever thought about modeling, you should do something. I'd love to do something with you, and it's such a weird reaction. I've just stopped doing it altogether. I'm just like, let them come to me because forget it. I'm not doing this like try to help you out thing anymore.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's so weird. And it's also because like girls, female models, they find them so young.
Mm-hmm.
I think women mature earlier anyway, and they're already, by 15, they're already doing full blown campaigns as like, of adults.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even guys, it's like, you can start late. You can do it at any time. There's any kind of model out there. But for what we're talking about, it's, when you're in your late teens, it's when you're really getting in there.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a weird thing to reach out. So I know how he felt, because it's like when you get a lot of no's. And you get a lot of no's, and you get a lot of people coming back around a couple years later. Yeah. And being like, hey, would you ever? And I'm like, I mean, but I'm not there anymore, or I don't live that area anymore, but
you've sort of passed that stage of recruiting. And I get it.
And sometimes it's, as an artist, it's like I'd love to create something specific with you, and you can take it with where you want. Yeah, absolutely. You can go. You're kind of like a subject in a painting. Mm-hmm. And
you have your time, and you can sort of depict how you want to portray that image. But it's like, if I could give any advice to anyone modeling, I would say that it's just sort of like a momentum thing. Like, once you get one domino dice knocked over, you just keep making sure that they hit the next. Right. And it's just a continuum thing. So
keep going. Why don't you tell me about, just like, what was your first experience in modeling and stuff?
My first experience with modeling was with Tainan Leachman. I had a job that I booked with them that was through Foot Locker, and that was my very first job, and I was extremely honored, extremely nervous to begin with. And
your first job was Foot Locker?
Yes.
That's impressive.
That's nuts. Shout out to Tynan Leachman, love them, but that was my first job in Wausau, Wisconsin.
Very nice.
Yeah, and I had just a little video campaign, and I feel like overall as an agency, they developed me and they scouted me the way that they were supposed to. I felt like it was numerous times where I felt like, why am I not getting these big jobs? Right. And why am I not doing X, Y, and Z? And they definitely made me take my time and understand that it's just a process and a formula and patience overall. So.
And once you start working with people, they start liking you. They'll come. You'll get them again.
Absolutely.
You get a repeat business and that kind of thing. It's a business.
Yeah, it really is a business. It's more of a business and relationships and what people understand, I think.
Yeah. So you were in Chicago. You were in your teenagers when you started doing this?
I was about 18, 19, went to college, played football for a couple years, and then probably started again when I was about 21. Okay. Yeah, so been doing this for about 4 years almost now.
Wow. Yeah, at the time, I mean, when I met you, you were probably 2 years into it then. Mm-hmm. And so you were well on your way, but we've done some fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was kind of when I made this podcast in general, was kind of wanting to do a photo shoot with people that were interesting in a different way, though, because I work with people like you, which is great, but I can't always do that. Mm-hmm. And I love, you're one of a few models that I work with that we just get to create some cool stuff.
Absolutely.
And that's always inspiring and fun. It kind of recharges you. Mm-hmm. But that's not always the case. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, let me figure out like something I can do with people where it's like a little more personal, and give them like a headshot and do some, a cool kind of, who is this person?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love this. I love being able to talk when given the chance.
Yeah.
And express how I feel about certain things. We've always gotten some great content, but I know what you mean, that
Yeah.
you can just get caught in
A little
lull.
more. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like, you also have the situation where, you know, some people don't get a chance to say anything. You know, you're often, especially within, like, knowing you know, you're just behind, you're in front of the camera, but you don't really ever get to kind of tell people what you're about and
Absolutely.
what you believe and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So what kind of formed you as, like, you're an adult now, you moved to LA.
Yeah.
What was it like to move to LA?
This year has been, in short, everything that I was waiting for. This year has been the year that I've been waiting for. Even the year before that, I felt like that was the year that I've been waiting for. So I feel like I'm on a good track.
What do you mean by that? So you've been building up to this year?
Yeah, I think that I've been building up to this year, and I think that not only have I been building up for this year, I'm still, like, sort of getting set in stone.
Yeah.
I think that anyone who describes me would definitely say that if I do have an opinion, it's definitely strong. I'm very goal-oriented. I don't really like to sit still. I'm not too big of a socializer, but I will talk to you. I will help you. I will communicate if I do feel necessary, but I'm more of just a get to the point type of person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And so, like, you getting in the car basically and moving here is a big move.
Huge move.
And you're not the only person that I know that I've talked to so far that's done that. Pretty much most of the people that I talk to have some kind of story moving to LA.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of brought that on?
I mean, to start, when I say we, my girlfriend and I, we were at home, and I remember during COVID this time last year, we were planning on moving to Texas. Everyone loves Texas for obvious reasons. But we had some similarities within our profession. We had some opportunities in which we felt like we wanted to work out, and we sat down more than a couple nights and we said, you know, can we make California work? And at the time it wasn't possible. And
why wasn't it possible?
Just wasn't enough traction out here. I was just signed out here, so it wasn't really enough traction out here. And we just had to sit and think of some things that we could do. I ended up doing a test shoot and sort of gaining some traction off of a job that was supposed to be for Ivy Park. And
nice.
Yes, thank you. And from there, I think that's when people started to take me seriously as far as this could be a long-term career, as far as what you can do, and it's not just you like modeling and taking a couple cool pictures. So from there, we just went for it. I had my agency, who I felt very comfortable with out here too. They put me in a very good position. They had me fly back a couple times, get comfortable, and from there it was really just going back to get my girl and the kittens that we had. And
you're a cat guy.
Yeah, I am.
Tell people that.
Yeah, I'm a cat guy.
You are not. When I see your pictures, I do not think cat guy.
Yeah.
I think of like Doberman.
Yeah. Love dogs. Big dog guy.
But you're a cat guy.
Yeah, I am a cat guy.
How many do you have?
It's 3 of them now.
3 of them now.
Yes, I love them all.
That's cute.
I love them all.
What are the names?
Halo, Potato, and Astro.
And what was the name? How did you come up with Potato?
Potato, he just used to look like a little baked potato when he was sitting there. The cutest little thing when he was young. Astro, that's my girlfriend's cat, quote unquote, but he's sweet. He loves nothing but her. Doesn't want to see anything but her.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to do anything in the morning but see her. That's what he loves. And Halo's brand new.
Very cute.
So he's just...
Have you seen our cat?
No, I have not.
Yeah, we have one. He's over on the other side, but It's a Maine Coon.
Oh, yeah, that's what Astro
Big
is.
orange cat.
Oh,
yeah,
he's orange.
He's a big orange one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a bitch,
But
he's a sweet. But he's not. He does not like new people.
No,
It takes him.
they normally don't.
Takes him a couple weeks.
Even the ones they do live with, sometimes
Takes
they
him a couple weeks.
Yeah.
He loves me now. But when I first met him, he hissed at me, and
Oh yeah.
it got so annoying where I finally hissed back at him, and he kind of gave me this.
You
look.
have to.
He gave me this look like, whoa, and I was like, fucking cat, and
Like,
then he
literally.
stopped, never did it again.
Yeah, you have to.
He was like, okay, and then he kind of warmed up to me,
Yeah.
and then he wouldn't leave me alone. But the cats are funny.
It's like with a dog, like that you have purpose
Yeah.
with a dog, but with the cat, it's
You
just
gotta
like,
work at it.
right. Like you're on there. Yeah.
You're on their time.
Yeah.
The dog, yeah, and I have a husky who's I think in that garden right over in that window.
They depend on you.
He's he's loving, but he's got some energy, especially this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
This time of year, man, there's just like a switch with energy. The cold just brings out the
Oh my goodness.
The crazy.
I forgot that.
the summer. He's just kind of lethargic, and
Yeah.
I'm secretly a little bit like,
Like literally like laughing.
yes,
yeah.
it's 95 out, and he's kind of like just sleeping.
Right.
And I'm like, that coat's keeping you
Exactly.
down. But no, he this time of year, when it's 50 degrees out, he's
Having
running
a ball.
around, and
I should take him up to Big Bear.
oh boy,
I was just up there in the snow. He would love that.
he'd love it. Yeah,
My goodness.
I know he'd love it. Yeah, he'll get up there soon. He's not getting off leash, but he gets.
Oh yeah, no, I don't need him off the
Yeah,
leash.
there's a few of them that are trained enough, but he's not taking that training. He has an independent streak that he'll go and he'll come back when he wants, but that might not be for a very long time.
He's just an independent guy.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
It's
that.
a little bit of cat in him in that way.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
so you guys got in the car, or did you guys flew here, or you
Car.
You
Yeah,
got in the
'cause
car
of the kittens.
because of the kittens. You got in the car. What would you tell someone there's so many people out there that listen to, they're maybe a little younger than you.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like making a move like that?
I would say that it's terrifying if you don't have the support system. Majority of the reason that I mentioned my girlfriend is because moving by myself, I think, would have been a lot more difficult.
Stress.
Having a support system there, like in your own household, whether it be your parents, your family, whatever, like an overall just strong rooted support system. I think that's probably the most important thing that you could ask for. You feeling like people will always believe in you no matter what decisions you make, and even if there is a hiccup and you fall, they're right there. That's very reassuring. So that's something that's always been important to me.
Yeah.
From either side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did your parents think about you moving?
They actually just came for Thanksgiving for the first time. They've never been to Los Angeles, either of them. So they were nothing but proud of me, and that just warms my heart.
Yeah.
More than anything.
That's good.
Yeah, they really like it down here. So, yeah.
And that's a big jump too for you for the 3 places you've lived.
Yeah, I mean, this was a lot different than Cape Town. This was a lot different than Chicago. This is a lot different than anywhere. But this is a market.
And when were you in Cape Town? So tell people about that, because we kind of skipped over that whole.
Oh yeah, I believe we did. Cape Town was right before we moved here.
Mm-hmm.
It was right before the pandemic. I actually ended up almost being stuck out there, but it was another experience that helped me feel like I gained a level in growing and being where I need to be.
And that's far.
Yeah.
I have one of my really close friends is from. She's from here, but it's a long story. But she married a guy who's from there.
Mm.
He's from Italy originally, but his family's in South Africa.
Yeah.
And they moved down there, and it's like 7,000 miles. It's far.
Yeah.
It's a ways.
Very far.
And it's removed.
Yeah.
In a way.
It's very removed.
How did it feel being that far away from home?
I just tried not to think about it. It was my first time ever leaving the country.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to really just focus on
The work.
task
Yeah.
at hand. Yeah.
And what were you doing there? You were doing
a lot of the
jobs?
work. Yeah, I was actually out there to work on the modeling season that they have out there, but due to the pandemic, a lot of the clients like halfway through were sort of like reconsidering.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty much a beautiful vacation in which I was almost stuck. However, I would love to go back, but it was a big point in my life where I feel like now that I look back on it, I'm grateful that I didn't have that time to work, because I had a lot of fun, but I had a lot of time to like grow up and like really be like on my own. Like nobody can really help me.
Right. And so your agency basically, did they send you down there, or did you have things that were pre-booked and you went, or did they just send you down there? And
yeah, I had a couple things just that were just like on the radar, just as far as interest. I worked a few jobs that were like moderately big for that market and that client, but it wasn't anything set in stone,
right?
Like I thought it would be. But I was still very happy with the overall experience and just being an African in general, especially as an African American. Like you going to Africa at all.
Did you travel in the interior at all, or did you stay in Cape Town?
No, we definitely should have. A lot of my friends that I made in that point in time are people who are still I'm close to now, and we all just agree that we should have done more.
Should have just traveled around more.
We definitely should have. But
especially you with like a motorcycle, so you could go on a bike or a Vespa or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Just hopped on and gone.
Would have been afraid of a cheetah or a hyena, something hawking me down. But yeah,
the deeper in you go, the more wildlife. Like anywhere, but their wildlife is wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
You know, mountain lion here is one thing, but run into a cheetah.
No, can't do anything with that. But it was fun. It was a memorable experience, just like I'm sure that this will be, and I'm always excited for the next step.
Yeah, you have that mentality of looking forward to the next thing.
Yes.
The next big thing for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what would be like, so you come back here from South Africa, you just barely skipped the pandemic.
Yeah.
You went back home then?
Yes.
Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Were you living on your own? Were you living at home, or were you?
My girlfriend and I
living with
together.
Your girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you guys do for? You just hung out for?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like quarantine relationships are so different because
you really get to know each other.
Yeah, you're in such close proximity with someone, but yeah, I mean, we love each other, and we definitely realize that we do love each other, being that close in proximity with one another, but we just grew together, tried to find the best way to occupy our time. And I feel like before we really knew it, we were taking one vacation. We took a vacation with my family at the end of the year to Hawaii, and like right after we came back there, like we pretty much had to pack up, and we didn't really get to see anybody. Because this was so last minute. We had anticipated leaving anyway, due to my girlfriend's lease was going to end.
Expiring.
So we were going to go to Texas or somewhere. But it came up on us really quick, long story short. And
Texas is turning out to be expensive.
Yeah.
I've been seeing that more and more the last few weeks. I've been seeing people say
trying to raise the prices.
It's
killing us everywhere.
It's crazy. So it's like
being alive is expensive. Who cares?
Yeah, at this point, I mean, there's not, unless you want to live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the least they could do is let the student loans go, but whatever.
Yeah. So you are here now full time.
Yes.
You're working full time.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you want to take that with? Where do you want to take that?
I think that when I look at the overall picture of myself, I want to, start doing things like this more. So thank you for having me.
Oh, of course.
Speak in general in here, but I want to start doing more in the future of video and filming my workouts and just the organic things that I like to do, because like you said, I did end up getting my motorcycle license, and I like cats, and I like to off-road. I like to eat. I like to sleep. I like to do just different things. So I just think that me getting that out there more for whoever it be, or just for my own just personal documentation, it's just important.
Yeah.
It's important that I just keep that trend up and keep that as something that I use to challenge myself. I feel like this year I've challenged myself in more ways in which I haven't in the past.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like this industry is so different as to what I was used to, because when you're modeling, they want you to perform the job and then also like be personable. Mm-hmm. And then with sports, it's just like they don't care who you are as long as you're doing what you're doing, getting the job done. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like now, like
it's based on looks too. It's a weird. It's one of the only professions where they literally walk up to you and start poking at you, and
like,
you know,
no, this isn't good enough.
Yeah, and they're talking. It's like you're not there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Know, especially agencies. Agencies are they're they're honest.
Yeah,
that's one word for it.
They are honest.
That's their job. I mean, I get that, but it's you know, any other profession, you can't imagine them walking up and being like, okay, he's too short, he's too tall, he's too this, he's too that. And with girls, it's even worse. But
yeah,
it's funny to me that like you have this kind of situation where people don't realize, you know, it's like you are really always on, because you can't really have a week where you just do anything you want, and you know, party and drink a bunch and eat a bunch, and because you might have, you know, you're almost always on call, to look your best, and to be, you know. Is there like a pressure? Do you feel like that's pressure, or do you feel like you thrive for that?
I definitely feel like without a doubt it's a pressure. But I've always been raised with the saying of pressure makes diamonds. And I feel like within my household, just the professionalism, my parents are like angels, the epitome of what you could make a pure human being. Right. So I was always like held to the standard of like making sure that my nails were clean, cut, manicured, whatever, my hair
that
the same
helps.
way. Yeah. So
to be always taking care of yourself.
Yeah. I feel like if it is pressure, I was already used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's not everyone's like that, and it's sad because it's such a rough industry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so, you know, they're getting better. But there's always going to be a degree of that. Yeah. Just that kind of, and some people handle it better than others.
Yeah.
And it's really sad when you see people who are just not mentally feeling, you know, they're not doing well because
they're just not built like that.
You know, and it's not fair. It's one of those things where they just need to it might not be for them. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, I encourage mental health in whatever industry you're in, but especially if you're a female.
Yeah.
Coming into this industry, just take your time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of smoke and mirrors.
I feel like it depends on how much self-worth you have going into it.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, like, you know, you feel good about yourself already, if someone says something, you're going to be able to say, all right,
you know, rub it off.
But there's a lot of people out there they don't have that, you know, that foundation. Their parents didn't, you know, there's a lot. The one thing for me that was crazy was, you know, parents that put their own kids down.
Yeah.
You know, and build these people that are
already
on ice already because they're thinking of their mom, you know, calling them fat, or their dad calling them this or that, or it's crazy.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that foundation, you know, your agent saying, you know, oh, you're looking a little bit too thick right now, can just be a bigger hit.
Yeah.
Than someone like you know, like you or me, where it's like, yeah, well, you know, you shrug it off because you know, or you're fine with it, or but it's rough.
Yeah.
It's not right, but it's rough.
It's rough.
You know, and it's sad to see sometimes people can't cope with it.
Yeah, I feel like this is a place where I felt like I've always knew of the temptations and the negative things that can come with it when you're in such a a place where people strive and try so hard to be that person.
Yeah.
You have to be concrete in your morals, and you don't talk to any other person more than you talk to yourself. So you make sure that you're pushing through the right feedback that's supposed to go into your own brain first, before you do anything.
Yeah.
Because other people, they'll see it and they'll notice it and they'll try to manipulate it as soon as they can.
Yeah.
If it's to their advantage, or even if it isn't.
Not to be naive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not that you need to look at everyone with suspicion, but, you know, you need to somewhat be aware that there are some people out there who aren't good.
Yeah.
You know, they're not looking out for you. You need to look out for yourself first.
Absolutely.
And make sure you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing with you being in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's very challenging for a lot of people, because you're in an industry where you're around male models, female models, you're around beautiful people all the time.
Yeah.
You're being looked at, lusted after, wanted in a lot of ways, and yet you found this person who you really care about.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to kind of have that backbone.
Yeah.
To,
I feel like earlier on in life, like, you should sort of be able to, like, gauge, like, when you're done.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, like, if they ever weren't, like, quote unquote done, like, they always have, like, things that they wonder about, and it's just too much going on out here to be worrying about where you're gonna sleep, for lack of better words, at night. Like, it's pandemics, and that's just the start.
Yeah.
It was STDs before the pandemic, so I don't know. It's LA isn't a place where I would prefer to be single going into it. I could see how it could be your overall demise if you let it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough city to be single in. It's like that in New York too.
Yeah.
It's a weird, people are they're always looking for the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they have a great thing, that's why with you, I was always surprised, because I was like, oh yeah, because at the time I didn't know you that well. So I'm like, oh, they're still together. That's sweet. And then just kind of, in the next time I'd see you, and then it was better and better and better, and stronger of a relationship. Yeah. Whereas a lot of people, it's, it kind of chips away at it. The city kind of slowly, chips away at them. Yeah. And if they've built it on a foundation like you have, it's stronger.
I think that's what you keep the people who are close for. And that's what matters so much to myself personally, is that I have somebody who I met before all this happened. So
you met her before?
I mean, essentially
somewhat,
during.
or early on.
Yeah.
When it wasn't as serious.
Yeah. But I've known Haley for 5, 6 years.
And that support's been helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely is grounding to have support from somebody who will tell you what you need to hear, not always what you want to hear.
Right.
So I just always have been grounded and rooted in wanting to have the solidarity in just one circle, instead of having, like, I feel like when you're in a relationship, you have, like, one circle, and then, like, they have their friends and you have your friends, and it pretty much stays that way. Mm-hmm. And if anything changes, you're like, what the hell? Like, who is this person? It's pretty simple. But, like, when you're single and you're in all these different spots and squares and circles, it's just, that's how chaos starts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think it's something where you both have to have a certain level of commitment to making it work.
Yeah. And
hearing the things that you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
But then also being able to make decisions like that together. Moving here, that's not a little decision.
No, it's not. And it's never easy.
You're not the first person to tell me this. I mean, every time I sit down here, I feel like someone's telling me, yeah, well, I packed up and moved to LA. And I'm just like, that's a huge decision.
Yeah.
And you have to have that mentality, but then to have that support and two people aligned with the same goal.
It's never really realistic.
Yeah. And what does she do?
My girlfriend, she does skincare marketing, esthetician. She can pretty much do whatever.
So she just sits there and works on you.
Yeah, she does my
That's
skin,
not a bad
she
thing.
does my hair,
Yeah.
yeah. But she can do anything.
Yeah.
She's actually working on some pretty important things right now.
So
with her own
similar
business.
interests.
Yeah.
That's good.
She's an LA girl.
That's good.
This is where she's supposed
That's where
to
she
be.
wanted to be.
Yeah.
And she's from there too. She's from Chicago.
She's from Michigan.
She's from Michigan. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good compliment. She's a skincare person and her boyfriend's a model.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing.
Not too bad.
Just give her the friend rate when you need to take some
Oh
pictures.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, half off.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean this is a crazy city.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're in the South right now. We're not up in the city, but it's
the city.
In terms of the city and the people that are in it, it's a busy, bustling thing, you know. And they're all like that. Chicago's like that. New York's like that. There's just the people in it they all want something.
They all have, I would say, just more fire in them than they do in the smaller towns. I feel like that's what I've noticed here is the people here who, I feel like here in New York, who have something going for them, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And they have like a certain spark and a gleam about them. But in Chicago, it's just more of like you decide when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you decide when you're going to take that next step and you're going to go to Los Angeles, you're going to go to New York, and you're going to like really just try to make a name for yourself.
New York's that business, you know, finance, business, you know, building, you know, companies,
rough,
building that's very cutthroat, harsh.
Yeah.
And there's elements of it that I love. I love, you know, not to say I love the harshness of it, but I love the movement of it. I love, you know, there's also physical things. I love being able to walk down the street and go to where I need to go in 10 minutes, and I'm just walking down and I'm good to go.
Not much of a walker.
You can't really walk here.
No,
you know,
shouldn't.
But if you need to go 3 blocks in New York, you can walk 3 blocks.
Yeah.
No problem. You need to go 3 blocks here. For some reason, the blocks are so spread out anyway.
Yeah.
But you got to get in the car, you got to do everything. But here, everyone wants to be, you know, people always say everyone wants to be famous here, which I don't think is true.
I couldn't imagine.
But there is a element of people here who have a talent or have some kind of dream where they want to be something.
Yeah.
At least it can happen here.
Yeah.
You know,
very quickly.
Versus being somewhere, you know, if you're in Miami, it's not like your dreams can't come true. It's not. That's not. People used to say that all the time. Well, you got to be in New York. You got to be in LA. You got to be. You can make it anywhere now because of technology, which is amazing. But there is something about being for certain jobs, and especially this type of thing, modeling and doing other things, where being in one of the big cities helps. And being around those people that have that spark.
Yeah, I think it rubs off.
Know? Yeah.
I feel like someone, I can't remember who explained to me that I still have like my Midwestern innocence, and that it's gonna wear off. But like I definitely feel like
you feel like the same person since when I first met you. You feel very much similar.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think it'll ever wear off, but I definitely have like as of recently like come into like I'm from LA, like no, like you can't just talk to me however, but I've been like that since Chicago, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like I always just try to keep my ego like very humble. A lot of my tattoos, I think my last tattoo is the fall of Icarus, just the angel that flew too close to the sun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's
and you have a lot of tattoos.
Yeah, working on having some more.
Yeah.
Hopefully by the time this comes out, everything.
Your back, you're doing a bunch on your back. You have a bunch on your front.
Yeah, I just started doing my legs too. Probably will stop with that. Didn't feel too good.
Didn't like it.
Did not like the way
You're
that
one
felt.
of those people that has really good taste in tattoos.
Thank you.
You have very artistic and symmetrical, and they fit your body really well.
Thank you. I
The people will
appreciate
see it when we release the photos. I'll release some extra ones from when we did some,
Absolutely.
a little bit of both. But they're, you know, you can just, you know, probably for the camera, just strip it down right now and show them. But no, that's but there's when we get the photos out, we'll show off the tattoos. But they're very well done. for
Thank
being sometimes art.
I've seen some tattoos that were different than others.
Mm-hmm. I have a bunch, but they're not. They're. I don't have like a flowing canvas going. I just have stuff that I like and some cool things, and I've had friends that tattoo and let them kind of figure out what they want to do, and but not really doing a whole like mural going down the body, which is what you have. It's cool.
Thank you.
It's commitment in a way.
Yeah,
you have to be committed to it.
Yeah, it definitely
in a way
is.
that I'm not.
That pain, I don't know if that's the commitment or not, but I just think that at this point I want to finish the picture of what I have like envisioned, angels, the sky.
And what do those mean to you? So some of them are more meaningful than others maybe, or are they all meaningful?
I think that they're all pretty meaningful. I think it'll mean a lot more when I can see like the final picture of it. A lot of my tattoos pretty much are centered around angels and the stars and just things that family members have said to me that were influential to me in my life. I have a tattoo that my grandma, she always just tell me keep my head up, and just simple things like that, like
reminders.
Yeah, just always. She just used to tell me, don't ever put your head down unless you're tying your shoe, period. Like, never be sad. Don't hang your head for any reason for too long. And I have a lot of angels in my TL right here. Me and my parents all have the same initials.
Oh, really?
Yeah, since I'm only child. So Terry, Tyrell, and Tynan.
Very cool. I didn't know that. You got like a little Kardashian thing going on.
Yeah, I guess so.
You guys got your own little...
I know, right?
I mean, my name's Tyler, so I like T better than but better than K. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it's just what's mattered to me most throughout my life, and those things have always been at the center of that family and what I love and what keeps me going.
And what did your parents do growing up?
My mom is a special education teacher, and my dad.
So is my cousin.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, my dad works in insurance.
Very cool.
Healthcare, yeah.
And so for her at least, that's a very...
patient. She is...
God, they don't get paid
enough.
A fifth of what they should. It is the stories I've heard of just what they have to do and how to try and... like
restrain children at times. It's
kids who just, they need the extra help for sure, but that's the patience is crazy.
My mother I feel like she's the teacher that like I always wanted, and the reason why like I was never as accelerated in school as I wanted to be, because I had teachers who would tell you like, oh, this assignment's doing XYZ day, and then like they're the same type of people who grade your paper in like 2 minutes.
Right.
And my mom is more so in the idea of like, nobody's failing my class. Like, you should not be failing my class. And granted, she teaches high school, and most people pass high school, but a lot of people don't. And a lot of teachers like intentionally let people fail, and they let people not get past that point in their life.
I've always heard it being like, I went to school before I dropped out for photography and production and stuff. I went to school to be a physical therapist. I was starting that process and got out before I spent too much money. But we always talked about that burnout that service workers and people who are healthcare, especially, and teachers, is very similar. When you're a nurse.
Yeah.
And you have empathy for these people, but you're seeing it every day. And people don't realize, when you see that kind of pain every single day,
you get numb to it.
You just kind of, it's human, it's natural to a degree, kind of start to just, it's not that you don't care, but it comes off that way.
You can shrug it off easy.
And so teaching, they're paid even less. and you're still emotionally dealing with very, heavy, difficult things.
At a pertinent time in someone's life.
And even bad teachers. I'm always looking at bad teachers going, this isn't someone who just woke up and wanted to be a teacher.
No.
They had to have gone through a process to get to this point where they don't like it anymore.
This hard to fail me.
Right.
Because I'm paying your salary.
Well, to me, something is for that, when that happens, that's someone who's been who's either given up or been broken by,
some student.
Because I don't look at a teacher who's just a bad. I mean, I'm sure there are just people who are just, they just happen to get in there and they're just horrible. But for the most part, I would like to imagine that those people are just exhausted.
Yeah.
And it's not that they are maliciously failing you and don't care, but they've just seen so many and they just don't have the resource anymore to care, and they're so underpaid.
They're so underpaid.
Did you see that thing where they were having I think it was like North Dakota or something, they were having teachers scramble for money to pay for their...
Yes.
What the fuck is that?
Because people get off on that, on watching people struggle.
Does that not look like a totally
dollars, picking up dollars?
Dollar bills, first of all. It's not even like 10s or 20s. They're scrambling for these desperately.
Yeah.
And I'm going, this is so they can have extra money to pay for school supplies
and parties for the students, because
for real, this is what you're doing to them.
Yeah.
And so I feel bad because a lot of times when I'll see a teacher who might be stressed or angry or not very into it, I'm like, there's obviously there's a degree where I'm like, look, you need to suck it up.
Exactly.
For the kid, but at the same time I have that kind of I wonder what they're going through.
Yeah.
Because they're probably there at 7 a.m. and they're not leaving until 6 p.m. and they're grading papers and they're just in.
Then they have a home life.
Then you got this kid who's coming in who's a pain in the ass, and for all his legitimate reasons, at home and all these other things. It's just this horrible soup of just miscommunication and complete.
Yeah, it's just clash of two.
Right. It's two people who just
worlds.
need a little bit of a breather. The kid probably needs a breather at home. You never know what they're going through at home. There's all these problems. It's always like that.
Wouldn't it just be the most genius idea to just implement a day of rest, like an actual day of rest that's not on the weekend?
Yeah.
Just throw in a.
Well, how easy is that? Because even when I get a day of rest, I end up working.
Exactly.
So it's people.
And I'm
there's some people like that end up doing something.
Yeah. No, I would definitely sneak something in there.
I always try and do that,
but
yeah.
At least it's given as an option, because some people they actually do need to rest, and I've been trying to teach myself that more too. Is that
take a day?
Yeah, take a day. And this culture that they're teaching people that you have to work and slave and grind every single day just to be alive. No one person. One thing that we have in common is no one person decided on being.
That's a very mid-20s outlook on life. The grind thing.
Yeah.
Every time I have a friend who's like, I gotta grind, I gotta get it, I'm just like, I'm
gonna take a nap.
You're 24, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a nap.
Because around the time you hit 20 and 29, you're like, all right, you know what?
This is when I need to sit
I'll get
down.
to it tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not doing that. No. Thank you, but no.
Yeah.
Because there's that spark, and I get it, but it's like a fire you're trying to build at a campsite. It's like if you do it too quick, you're gonna burn it out.
Exactly. Or hurt yourself.
And you're going to end up being miserable.
Yeah.
And you're not going to end up wanting to do what you were passionate about in the beginning. And I have it with photography and all the time, and productions, and sometimes it'll be there's a whole bunch of work that goes in before. There's a whole bunch of work that goes in.
Way more for photographers.
And when we do, a lot of the time I'll do productions, or I'll help with the videos that we do in this house and other with my team and stuff. And there's a different director for that, but. I just look at them sometimes and go, this is like a photo shoot times 50 with the amount of pre-work that goes into it for the payoff being nothing.
Literally.
Music videos especially.
Yeah.
They end up paying less than a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And if you're a director, my business partner he's a good director, but he puts all of the effort and a lot of times a lot of his money and the money into the job
to make it look good,
to make it great.
Yeah.
And then you have these people who are like, yeah, it's like he just put his money, his heart, his soul, his time, his effort, weeks of work,
and then some,
to have some person in an office go, I don't like the vibe.
Yeah, something's off here.
It's never like an actual criticism. It's a and the artist loves it or someone else loves it, but some person in an office is like,
tapping their pen like,
I don't know. There's something I don't, and they got to have their tweaks. They got to have their input. They can't just say, looks good, do what you want. That's why we hired you. You know, we hired you to be an artist, so do artist. Not we hired you to be an artist and do what I tell you.
It's just these movies that I see sometimes about Hollywood, Los Angeles, like it's kind of true, and it just gets funny.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it gets kind of funny to me. But
and so I can't imagine people who. I mean, I don't want to say that. Maybe I would enjoy being the person in the office getting paid a salary and being like, you know, it's an easy job to me. But there's a whole bunch of people under them who are having to relay. And people that I like, there's people out there who you know, I really like them because they're at the label or they're at the places and they're relaying from the top guys to us what's going on, and they're trying to kind of, you know, walk that line, and they're always getting shit because, you know, they're the messenger, so everyone's shooting them, being like, absolutely. You know, and it's just like this crazy thing where, you know, it's you put all that effort in there to get something that
to get your feelings hurt, essentially,
you know, or to be in a situation where it doesn't happen, or it doesn't get released, or it doesn't do very well, goodness. Or it doesn't, and it's beautiful, but it doesn't get the right marketing, or it doesn't get the right. It's incredible.
I wonder what percentage that would be. Like one statistic I'm actually interested in seeing in this industry is what percentage of like either media or like projects either get like discontinued, lost, or
don't
like,
happen.
Yeah, it just don't happen.
Yeah, I don't even know how to quantify that, and I don't even know. You know, it's different for photo shoots in general. I think our team, when we do photo shoots, whether I do them or whether, you know, our other photographer does them, or you know, we're doing some third party person doing it, you know, producing for them. It's so much easier than video.
Yeah.
Because there's not as many moving parts. Mm-hmm. Just because it's different, and you can control things better, and it's a lot quicker.
Yeah. And
the budgets are really good, and not all the time, but a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, you have video, which is more equipment, more people, you know, more help, smaller budget.
Yeah, less room for error.
You know, and it's really interesting because you would think, okay, well, this is a video, so this should be twice as much as what the photo shoot would be. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's not, it's half.
Yeah.
And they're asking you to rub two sticks together and try and create something beautiful, and a lot of times we do. But it's just it's a crazy thing.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if there would be a situation where, you know, you could see people that had an opportunity or it didn't come through, or it didn't happen, or you know, there's tons of talented people out there, whether they're musicians or models or artists or whatever, and that's why if you do it yourself, you know, you can just release it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I've been doing a lot more, is doing things when we're creating products or we're creating things for ourselves. I'm just going to release it whenever I want. I'm not waiting for anybody to tell me, oh, it's okay, or it's releasing in 6 months, or,
yeah, you know,
there's a nice aspect of that where I can just,
yeah,
it's ready to go now, so let's put it out there.
And you
know,
gotten yourself to the point, like, we had amazing content last time, but this is our best stuff ever. Yeah, I was excited about this. Shoot number 2. But this is the kind of thing, shooting what we shot today was something where it's something I look forward to editing. Absolutely.
There's a certain artistic part of this job where I'm excited to work on it. Mm-hmm. It's like painting or drawing on the side. Yeah. Put some TV on, I sit there and edit and work on it, and it's fun. Yeah. You know, it's not really work. Yeah. The pre-stuff is work. Mm-hmm. Getting it set up is work. Mm-hmm. If I would hire assistants, it probably would be a breeze. I just don't. I like to do everything myself. Yeah. So, you know, one day I'll probably have someone sitting here doing this, but I'm like, I'll turn the cameras on and I'll do it. Let's just do it. Yeah. And I you know, I've reached out for I have one kid that's amazing. He's super talented, and I want to get him in here. But you know, right around the time I started filming this, he was like, "Oh, and I got a job," and I'm like, "Damn!" So like, and I'm like, "I'm happy for you. It's awesome." And I'm like, "Damn it,"
Right.
you know, like I finally found someone I gel with, I want to work with, and you know, and then I'll get people asking me, "Hey, you know, is the spot open?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but like,
not for you.
I like you personally. I need you to have some kind of experience. I can't be teaching you everything. If you got to learn a few things, no big deal. I learned. I was given tons of opportunities to learn. You know, learn by doing. Say yes first and learn it. But I need someone to already kind of know some of it for this specific job.
Absolutely.
So it's just, I don't know. But, you know, I'm excited about what we shot, though.
Yeah, we got some very good content. And like I said, this is
stuff.
The second real time.
Yeah.
Having some time to sit down. So I'm excited.
First time we shot, I just met you at your fucking hotel. And the night before you left and snapped some.
In an hour.
You know,
hour and a half.
40 minutes and did what I could and came back. And then this is our second time doing a real setup and everything, and it's been fun.
Even today didn't take too long, really smooth. So
yeah,
I'm excited for this summer, the months to come.
Yeah, me too. So essentially, you're full blown modeling now. You're doing all that here. Where do you want to take that?
I think that the answer that I strayed myself off from saying is I need to probably push myself, and when I say probably, I probably should definitely do more acting, get more comfortable doing more video in front of the camera, just getting more comfortable and overall just being myself.
You ever thought about like vlogging or doing that kind of thing?
Yeah, I have. I've definitely tried to wean myself into it by using motorcycles, and
I hate being on camera.
Yeah, it's
doing this was my first episode was me not on camera. I was interviewing someone, and I was trying my best to find a way to not be on camera.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I hate it to always hate my pictures taken of me.
Me too.
Parents would always like mock me and be like, "Stop staring."
And the
at
irony
me.
of you being a full-blown fashion model, and me being a photographer, is being I used to hate taking pictures, but now I'm taking them.
That's life.
But it's great though because I can take them, and I'm like, oh, I'm taking them. I can't be in. I'm sorry.
We're gonna get some of you.
You know. Oh yeah.
One day.
But
we'll find you.
It's a thing though. I mean, it's vlogging would probably be a good way for you to work your way into it.
I think so. Just
getting more comfortable.
Baby steps.
You know, it doesn't need to be, every day, but it could be just to get your personality out there. And
yeah, I got a GoPro now.
Yeah, it's
so
a good start.
I try.
I think that like, it's built up into this thing. Yourself being out there, and
do
you have like a reason why you don't like being out there, or do you just not used to it?
No, I mean in school and everything, I was always the person who hated doing the projects where I was like presenting anything. I just hate people just staring at me like this, and they just don't even care what you're talking about, but like they have to pay attention. So I feel like school is probably what caused a lot of that trauma. Yeah. So I think it's just like me, like as an actual like organic adult, like developing like the confidence, and like B, just the overall just comfort. It's really just comfort in yourself. Yeah. And learning to be comfortable in all situations, as many as you can be. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a good way to look at it. I think you have a good personality, but you also have that kind of personality that's, because you're interesting, you don't feel the need to be out there all the time. Yeah, some of the best people that I've met, that's again kind of why I started this, was because there's so many people out there that they're so interesting and just cool, and or whether I meet someone random or I have friends that I know, or those people you talk to endlessly, and you're just like, yeah, he'd be interesting just to talk to, and other people would probably like to hear it. Absolutely. I don't know why, sometimes, but
I mean, I listen to people talk too.
That's like, me too, and I'm like,
I watch The Breakfast Club. Like,
I'm thinking like,
why not?
they're just having, they're just sitting down, and I thought, well, maybe I can, make it unique in a way, and that's when I came up with, like, let's do a portrait book of just.
I think it's brilliant.
Take a picture of every single person I talk to. Some different, some, if it's someone that is maybe more normal and doesn't used to taking pictures, or just do something simple.
I think anyone would love to do this.
Oh, it's helped with getting guests, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I'll take your picture, and they're like, oh, really? And I'm like,
Exactly.
suddenly you have a weekend
Right,
free.
I can get a picture.
It's not
Yeah.
just you helping me out. Suddenly I can kind of throw that out there and go,
Yeah.
and I'll take your picture. And they're like, oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, uh-huh. No,
That's
you were
all
on the
it
fence
takes.
before, weren't you?
Uh-huh.
You weren't so sure.
Absolutely.
But no, I mean, it's helped me. I don't like to ask people for things.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I was like, I'm asking people to come sit down and talk to me, and they might love that. They may, sure, but I can offer something.
Mm-hmm.
Then I feel like, okay, this is a wash. This is even.
It's an experience. That's
You know.
how I really like one out of situations isn't like a meaningful experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like a picture is what people can carry, and that's
Yeah.
like with them. But like this overall, like this day, like it's an experience, and like whether we're 2 years down the line or 5 years down the line, like I'll remember this.
Yeah.
No matter what point we are in. So
Yeah.
like I said, thank you again for
Yeah,
this.
of course. I'm just happy to have you.
Talk
here.
to you anytime people want to hear my voice.
Yeah, we'll have you back once you book Ivy Park again. Then we'll have you back.
I'm
and
tatted up.
How was that? How was that experience?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean it's a fun industry.
Yeah.
It's
it really
different.
is.
It's unique in its way.
Mhm.
Not everyone can be a part of it because you have to have certain skills or certain talents that there's a certain type of person I think
Yeah.
that can really thrive in there, and that's not a bad thing. It's all types of people. I've met so many different types of people.
So many.
And it opens your idea of what the world's like in so many
Yeah.
ways.
I definitely agree with that. I've met like some of the best people I've ever met like through this career path, and they're all completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that's like, it's an interesting profession for sure.
Mhm.
You get to, almost hang out for a living, in a way.
Yeah. You get to like,
especially on your end.
Mm-hmm.
You get to just
I'm definitely hanging out.
You get to
a lot
kind of
of the
just
time.
you meet other people, and they're all from, all these other different places.
Mhm.
So you're from Chicago, or Chicago, but they're from
Rome,
wherever,
Yeah.
and they're from Australia, and there and here,
Yeah.
and it's so refreshing for people
Yeah.
that get bored, especially
Mm-hmm.
because I tend to get my problem is that I get a little bit not bored, but
Like schedule. You don't like scheduling.
no, I just get, if I do the same thing for too long,
Mm-hmm.
I start to lose the motivation.
Yeah.
I'm very quick to be like, yeah, I don't like this anymore, and so
That's fair.
it's nice that every shoot's different.
Mhm.
We're always doing something different, even if it's with you, the same person, but we're doing a different idea. You're creating, some kind of art in some way that's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. No picture can really ever be duplicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's what's cool about it for me is I know I'll always get something different every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think it opens so many doors.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. It does open a lot of doors.
So what's on your radar for the future?
I mean,
Are you just taking it one day at a time?
yeah, I mean, that's what I would like to say. I feel like in my head, I take it 10 years at a time, but
What's your next 10 years look like?
I mean,
Your best case scenario.
my
what you
best
wanna
case
do.
scenario, oh my God, I would love to race motorcycles.
And we haven't talked about that yet. So
Yeah.
what kind of bike do you have?
Sport bike.
What kind?
Yeah, R6,
Okay.
2006 R6, the best kind, the older generation. But no, I mean, I love motorcycles. I've always loved riding bikes as a kid. I think me being able to put on a helmet and like some type of uniform,
Yeah.
again, the idea of that really excites me. So I don't know. definitely have had the opportunity to do some track days where I could have brought my bike to the track. It's a little intimidating.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll just be something I work into. But yeah, I mean, in the next 10 years, I definitely, before anything, I want to be happy. I always tell people that I definitely want to be happy, but motorcycles.
Were you always into like all kinds of racing, or did you just like you got into motorcycles?
Just motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't really done too many racing. I like racing games. But
What kind? What brought you into like wanting to have a bike?
My dad had one.
Okay.
Yeah, when he was.
So to your mom, that's the influence.
Yeah.
In case she's wondering, because I know your mom's probably like, not happy about that bike.
She's not. She's actually been a lot better than I thought that she would ever be. I got it without telling her.
What was worse, the tattoos or the bike? Or neither?
I think neither.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you got a cool mom.
Yeah, I do have a cool mom.
That's good. She's so tired after her day. She's probably like, whatever.
I don't even give a shit. He didn't got a motorcycle too. I don't even give a shit.
Whatever.
Yeah.
If you don't give me 10 minutes.
Right.
If you don't.
Literally after her days, I can only even imagine now that someone else is saying it. But yeah, I mean, I didn't tell her. I definitely didn't tell her about tattoos.
Did you just show up with a whole...
Yeah, I had...
Or did you wear a turtleneck?
I had this whole
That's
sleeve.
what I did.
Yeah, you wore a turtleneck?
I didn't even have anything on my neck, and I still wore a long sleeve. I was like, let me give it a few months. And then that turned into like 6.
Yeah, I just ripped the Band-Aid off, came home from college, North Carolina, half a sleeve, and, it was what it was, but...
Yeah, mine didn't care either.
Yeah.
She, for some reason, cared more about my brothers. Yeah. But me, it was like,
Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe they just feel like you're already on such a straight path. Like,
maybe.
What could a tattoo do?
Or I was a little bit like, well...
Like, we won't even address it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, afterthought.
And then my brothers was like, what did you do? And I'm like...
Do I need to get another one?
Like,
you want me to get my face tatted?
You care? I'll act out. Don't push me.
Literally, I'll go skydiving.
Yeah, I will push. I will.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about this kind of thing. I could make my parents into any kind of character I want. So Christmas better be good guys.
Yeah.
Because I can just, they'll never meet you. So,
absolutely.
No, they didn't care. They weren't really. It had built it up into being this like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna be upset. I didn't care. Like I did it, but I was a little bit like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. And then it was like, whatever. And it was kind of like, well, okay.
Man, I don't know how I honestly escaped it. Now I'm looking back on it. I feel like I definitely should have been at least yelled at, or like it should have been addressed.
Yours were good though.
Yeah, maybe that was.
People will see yours are amazing.
Yeah,
they're good. They're well done. I don't know who did them, but they're well done.
Yeah, I've had them done in pretty much. I won't say every place that I've been in, but it hasn't been by the same artist,
which is sometimes hit and miss.
Yeah, I'm pretty particular on who I let do my tattoos. So
you should.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing where it's like you want the good guy.
Absolutely.
You want the one who has the waiting list.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
If he's open today,
might not be the best.
Yeah, he might be just new, and that's okay. But you try it out on some people.
Yeah, no, I need to see some of your work on skin for years.
Yeah. I need to see like a Yelp 5-star for like thousands of.
Can I see your card back?
Yeah, I'm not saying other people need to be a guinea pig, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't be the guinea pig.
Yeah, no, I will not be the guinea pig. Yeah. For something that you testing out if you like it, Yeah. No, but that's an interesting profession too. It's such a it's so unique.
Yeah.
And they're becoming more popular.
Artistry.
They've really become really popular, and even in like. A few of the ones I had done were from a pretty well-known guy in LA, and he's turned it into a whole career. It's not I shouldn't say that because he has a career doing tattoos, but he's turned it into a persona. Mm-hmm. He's turned it into he's like a like he's known for that,
like that's
globally, you know.
Yeah.
And that's new with the internet and everything else. You know, they're able to, the best ones are able to rise up to the top and
the tools that
get there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a true meritocracy where you have the best ones are just got millions of followers. And
Oh, yeah.
people are fascinated by it because they're just the talent to be able. I mean, I can draw. That's how I started out in art was drawing. I could draw, whether it's I drew on everything.
Yeah.
But I don't think I can draw on skin.
Yeah, no, because you gotta like.
I might be
pull
able to,
it,
but
yeah.
I would be nervous.
And I got my leg tatted, and I was shaking like.
People moving and
Yeah,
shaking.
no.
You know, that's like a haircut but it's permanent.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, people are wiggling and moving with a haircut, and that's already.
Yeah.
You know, please keep it still. You know,
right.
Kid or whatever.
Push
it
your
is,
lining back, but no, I mean I was twitching with my leg, so. Shout out to him for making it through.
Working with your twitch.
Yeah, working with my
He's
twitch.
getting ahead of it, and you know,
literally.
Yeah. The leg is like a crazy.
Yeah,
spot.
a lot of nerve endings there.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, I see why.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Definitely think it's a lot in the calf.
I still think the worst one was like my elbow area. This in here.
Yeah, that's
The
not
closer
good.
he got to my armpit, the more I was like, all right, just say, you know what, we're gonna stop halfway through.
Yeah, that's how I definitely feel about my back. Like it looks good enough.
And you gotta go back in for the color.
Yeah, I gotta go get the color and the last portion of the bottom.
Is there a reason why you're waiting? Is it just because of the time, or?
No, I mean he just did it that day, and we had already knocked out like.
When did you do it? A couple weeks ago, or?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Oh, so it wasn't long.
Yeah, not too long ago.
I always thought you had a back tattoo.
No, I've been trying to definitely work up the courage for it. I thought the spine would be like what my calf was, but it was the opposite.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, everyone's pain receptors are different. But yeah, I mean, be done on January 7th, hopefully. Nice. I'm going to try to find me some lidocaine.
Yeah.
Get through it.
That's a tough thing, too, because they don't want you to drink.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to bleed.
Yeah, lidocaine is the answer. I had that for my stomach, and I had it for like the first hour, and I was
fine.
Peaches and cream. Yeah,
and it started to wear off, and you were like, oh.
Literally got up, just fainted, just straight to the ground.
I had, I always kind of went by that whole, like, let's have a couple ideas, then keep it for a while and see if you still want it.
Exactly.
And I just wanted some pop culture stuff and some interesting, like, some things and some animals. And so I thought about them for a long time, and finally went into my friend of a friend is like a really well-known tattoo artist. And they were small. They were maybe, they weren't very big. They were,
that's a good size,
a couple inches at a time. They were probably like, 4 or 5 inches long or so. And he said, do you want to do them one at a time, or you want to do them all today? And I had 4. Because I was like, well, I have these 4, but they're in order of which one I want first, and
which one you decide.
And he said, well, I can cancel the rest of my schedule for you if you want, because he was he knew I was friends with his manager, and Romeo Lacoste is the guy's name, and he's amazing. The guy's fucking, just his work is crazy. Single, he has some technique he uses that makes him unique, but they're so detailed and small, and that's kind of what I wanted, was the smaller. And he said, I can cancel the rest of my afternoon for you if you want, and you can just do them all today. And I was like, that's convenient,
That hurts.
And I felt fucking sick for it, like the next day.
Yeah.
I was so...
Like you felt like you lost blood. And
it was like the trauma of it. He said, you're going to probably feel a little nauseous when you get home. And I felt like I had the flu for that night, and the next day I was just like, what the... And it was just like my body was like, what did you fucking do?
Right. And that's what I think about every time, like, I'm in the tattoo chair. I'm like, like, why am I still subjecting myself to sitting here under pain for, like, multiple hours?
Just drilling into you. And I remember he did the back one. I have a little one on the back last. And by that point, I was just like, I could feel it hitting me. And I was like, just get it done. Let's just get it done. And it was so like the first 2, no big deal. And then the third one was tiny. So it was like in a very painful spot, but small.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one of those things where I was like, oh, well, it could be worse. And then by the time I was at the last one, I was laying down flat, and I was just like, get me out of here. You know,
yeah. And it's bad when you're laying on your stomach too, and like,
oh, are you done? Are you done?
Literally.
Because you can't tell where he is either.
No, you can't.
Especially in that area, it just hurts, but you can't really pinpoint what he's doing. Because the other ones I can kind of tell. If I close my eyes, I can tell what he's drawing.
Oh, you look at him?
Or I'm looking at him.
Oh, yeah, I don't look.
I look.
I can't look.
I'm a look. I look. Like when I get a shot, I'm like this. Like okay.
Oh, you're one of those.
Like what are you doing?
Yeah. I will pass out on
any kind of vaccine shot, any kind of small needle. I don't look for blood.
Yeah, I'm passing out.
Because those are like a vaccine needle, like a flu shot, any of that stuff. The needles are smaller. Mm-hmm. So I always, for some reason, look. But when they do blood drawn, it's that big thick needle that they're sucking the blood out. And I am not a huge lover of giving blood because my first time I had, it was in high school. We had this big blood drive, and I was like, sure, no problem, whatever, no big deal. I had done it, before at that point, like once before. Mm-hmm. And so it was my, second time doing it, I think. And it was like a nurse, but she was like an intern.
Oh my goodness!
Like a college girl who was doing it.
I can't even think of the name. And
a resident, or it wasn't a resident because she was a nurse, but she was whatever the term is.
Mm-hmm.
And she's leaning over me, and she's like, I just remember hearing that. You remember that sound you hear? Yeah, we're gonna get there. Do you remember that sound when your tooth comes loose when you're a kid?
Like crunch, that popping noise?
That popping crunch noise?
Yeah.
That? She's doing that in my arm, and she's digging for it. She was digging for because it's supposed to like immediately, the little tube turns red. It just like immediately, and
like
it wasn't.
Suck it out.
And I'm like, there's blood in there. I know there's blood in there, and so I'm sitting there sweating, and she's like, I can't. And so finally they call like more nurses over, and finally there's like a team around me, of 5 people, doctors and people showing her how to do it, and they take it back out and put it back in. And
why can't you sue for that?
I'm like, this is horrendous.
Why can't you sue for that?
I mean, this was I was volunteering.
She's volatile for sticking a needle.
I was
in your
volunteering blood, and I was being massacred.
Yeah.
I was just being my whole arm was black and blue, for a week. She had hit something, or and that's why
I would have hit the jackpot.
That's why I
tell you right now, because I would have had my lawyer on the phone. But
that's why. That's why. It was so painful. It was just, it wasn't like brutally painful, because I have stories of things that I've done that I've never broken a bone, but I have had some excruciatingly painful moments. That was more of a mental thing where I'm just sitting there going, in my head, I'll never forget this. I was in my head, I'm screaming at her, take it out. I could stick it in there,
literally.
The veins are, I was in high school. I was lean. I was a swimmer. So I had a vein. I'm like, how can you miss it?
Literally,
it's it's right there. It's popping out right there. And she was just, and I'm just like, oh,
like a screwdriver.
That's what she was. That motion though, she was doing this kind of and I'm like,
that's what they did for my COVID vaccine.
I can hear the crunching noises. And I'm like, and the COVID vaccine is a tiny little needle. So imagine a needle that feels like it's like this being stuck in your arm.
Yeah, no.
And so ever since then, I've been very hesitant to get blood. I'll get plasma. Plasma's a tiny needle.
They pay for plasma, don't they?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm one of those suckers that just gives it away.
Yeah, for free.
Some accident or earthquake.
Yeah, they gotta call me about some dollar signs if somebody needs some plasma from me.
But that is one of those things that I will never forget.
Yeah.
So long story short, I am a looker now because for everything but blood, because I can't look at the blood when they draw blood, and I do it very rarely now because there's all kinds of rules, and you can't have tattoos, and you can't have this, and you can't have that, and some of them allow it, and some of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, I'm just not going to bother, because if you're not going to even take it, then what's the point? But you know, that was the worst experience. And there's nothing more comforting as a teenager as to having like 5 doctors around you in a circle with a clipboard.
Absolutely. And then them like asking each other, like, you know, what do we do next?
So, you know, and I'm just like,
Haven't
I
seen
am
this
alive.
before.
I'm, you know,
Literally,
like I'm, you know.
Literally here.
And
breathing.
the thing I always thought was bizarre was no one talked to me. They were like talking about me as if I wasn't there. And I'm like sitting here going, I'm right here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm right here. Nothing.
I probably would have to excuse myself. I just don't think I have the temperament for that anymore. That happened with my COVID vaccine, and doctors were like asking each other like what was going on because my arm.
Then that's the last thing you want to hear. When it's like,
especially COVID.
I'm already stressed out.
Didn't want to get it in the first place.
It's not something I'm looking forward to. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not looking forward to a shot, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
It could be water.
The needle.
I don't care.
The pain.
I don't want any of that.
And then what is in my body, but that's beyond the point. They're just
Having
looking
people
at
confer, but what was going on? It's like, what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, people are insane.
Well, and supposedly with that, there's some steps you're supposed to do. You're supposed to like breathe out when they put it in. Yeah, exactly. That's what they didn't do with me.
I'm like, never heard that for any shot.
I heard you're supposed to breathe out on a shot in case they hit the blood vessel or something. And that's some of those problems they were having was because it was being administered wrong. It wasn't the vaccine. It was them hitting the wrong spot and shooting.
Nothing you did.
You know, right.
Yeah.
And I had heard that someone had said that after I got it, and I was like, I already just, you know, I took care of it. I was like, I have all these, I have to go international travel, and I'm not trying to deal with any, you know, difficulty, or being stuck somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I'm not doing that. So
you gotta
the last
swing
thing
your arm after you get the shot.
You know, so I just was like, okay, let's just get it done. And luckily for me, the person it was like over, and this girl was like I looked this way. And then I looked back, she was already done. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that's how my, like, childhood doctor used to do them. So I was never, like, afraid of needles. Yeah. She would always talk to me and, like, ask me how my day was and just go like that. And
already in.
Yeah. And I love that, but no.
There's certain things. I mean, I never had a fear of needles until then.
Yeah.
That was
when one's stuck in you and it's just, like,
it's hanging there.
Like, sitting in your arm, like, needles actually hang in your arm, and that's crazy. No.
Well, and then like, if I was ever in an accident, like a serious one, and them having to put like a you know, an IV in you, that's the one that freaks me out.
IVs hurt.
That freaks me out.
Awfully, yeah.
And that I have never had to have that, an IV sticking into me. Those are big needle, and it's like in the really sensitive part of your wrist.
Yeah, your forearm. Or did you the wrist or your forearm?
Either. But having one in your wrist to me is like I don't know which one would be worse.
This is the top 3 most painful tattoos was right here, and I don't know how like that's even like a thing where people like cut right here because it just seems like you just black out.
Like sticking a big IV needle in there, and then when you see people moving, so like when you see like a James Bond movie where he pulls the IV out,
yeah,
I'm like, oh my god, you know, like in my head I'm just going, oh, because that's just this. It's like this big. It's huge.
Yeah.
At least a tattoo needle was like and that's the thing. So Romeo uses like single needles, these little needles, and he'll fill it in some things. Some of them are filled in and stuff, but for the most part, it's those little ones, and those are no problem. But I remember him pulling out the other one.
The shading needle?
I was like, I don't like that one. Like,
you got to put that one back away.
There's like a bunch of guys in there. They're all like, you know, cool, and they're all tatted, and they're all like, and I'm just sitting here kind of going, I don't want to be like a little wuss. So like, let me just, you know. But in my head, I'm going, no.
I don't give a shit.
I'm just going, no, please.
I don't give a shit.
You know,
the dude who did my leg last, he just, after I was twitching and like screaming and crying for like 2 hours, he got his head tatted like. He's bald.
Oh,
he got
God.
His whole entire head tatted. Like,
what did he get tattooed?
I
Not
think
hair.
it's like Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, like literally Jesus.
Not those people with like the hair.
No, not no hair. It's like a whole face, like detailed face.
Because I've seen that, and I don't know who you're fooling.
Literally, yeah. I don't know.
It's flat. There's no. I mean, from far away maybe, but I mean it's shiny and flat. So
The pain tolerance some people have is beyond what I would
eyelids.
give myself. Oh yeah, Lil Wayne has his eyelids tatted. Better man than me.
I think one of my cousins has her lip on the inside. There's something in there, and I'm just like, how?
Yeah.
How?
A lot of people do that. I don't think your lip hurts. It's just more so.
That's what she said, and I'm just going.
They say it just doesn't stick, just because it's like the ink just comes off, like wears off type
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it feels like it would be fine, but sometimes you feel like the back's gonna be fine, and then you get there and you're like, oh man, this is.
Your lip, you gotta like hold it open too. I think for like an hour, like you gotta like fold your lip over and hold it so it dries out. And
I
the
couldn't
ink-
do it.
Yeah, no, I mean
I couldn't do it.
that's like a spring break. You're a freshman in college type thing. If you haven't done it by then,
She might have been a sophomore. Yeah, I don't.
yeah,
Remember.
then just your time's probably passed.
I don't remember if that was younger or older, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's a commitment, especially yours, because yours are very elaborate.
Thank you.
They're great.
Yeah, thank you.
They're great. They're one of the few. I mean, there's plenty of guys with tattoos that I would love to photograph, but there's sometimes I'll see people and I'll photograph them, and I'm like, if only you didn't have that.
Yeah.
Because there are certain situations where I'm like, we had someone that was here with he had a incredibly good genetics for a physique. Like he had just a great shape. Like naturally, it had that like just broad shoulders and small waist and big legs, and just it looked like a cartoon character.
Mm-hmm.
And similar to you, but he was more. He wasn't as tall. He was more just like a traditional kind of like that shape, like a little bit bigger. Perfect for like a fitness model.
Mm-hmm.
And he had this massive tattoo. Like it was so big and not.
Placed well.
The placement even was fine. I mean, it was just that you could place that anywhere and it wouldn't look good. It was too shaded, too dark. He was too pale.
Yeah.
It didn't flow right. It didn't look good.
Yeah.
It just was too, like dark and like there wasn't, like it was like the detail was lost in any of it. And even if you would have detail in it, I don't think it would have been good. But it was just so dark that like if I saw him from 100 yards away, like that's the first thing I would see.
Yeah.
Would be this like dark black thing on his chest.
Like a blob. Yeah.
And I'm just like every ethnicity and type of skin tone and can look great with tattoos. There's tons of them.
Absolutely.
But it's just how you do it, where you do it, what kind, how bold,
Taste.
And then when you have like when your biggest thing is you're trying to be a fitness model and you're doing this with someone else who want to do that, but you're all about your physique and the way it flows, and then you just have this like stamp.
Yeah. Literally.
And it looked like a stamp. Like it just looked like weirdly shaped and too bold and dark, and I'm just going, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
And I've seen people.
got their own
I've seen
thing.
people at the gym, or I've seen people, and there's some of them where there's just their tattoos are amazing.
Mm-hmm. I've seen some really good tattoos
It's like-
that have made me want to erase mine.
Yeah.
And
you're
I'm
like,
damn, like
wow.
I'll just take your skin off your
Wow.
arm. Yeah.
And then there's some where you're like, whoa.
Did
It's a
you
different
lose a
kind of
bet?
whoa.
Right.
Like what were you thinking?
Were you thinking?
And that's fresh. So
yeah. You're still not thinking.
there was a guy that didn't work out. He it was one of those where it was like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I shoot people for a living, so if you want to do some pictures, like let me know. And he wasn't interested. I'm like, whatever, it's cool. But just aesthetically, just incredible. Just like a painting, just amazing. And the tattoos were incredible. But then had like a weird, like when you shade your arm in.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, these are so intricate and cool, and then you're just like black,
Yeah.
like ink.
Yeah, I've seen people
Like
who like
I'm like, what? It's just like a section.
Yeah.
It was just random. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what were you?
What were you
like,
thinking?
Why? Like, I just don't know.
Yeah.
It, for all this, it almost looked like a, like a painting in that way. You had these really amazing. So it's not like you're not going to people who couldn't do it because but then this one spot. I'm just thinking. I'm like, is there a meaning? The ones I don't like are the little rings.
Oh yeah.
I hate that.
Unless you're like Hawaiian tribal like tattoos, I love those. I think those.
No, on a Polynesian looking guy.
Absolutely.
Or a girl.
Absolutely.
Not a dude from Kansas.
No, it just doesn't work.
Or some Russian guy with a barbed wire or it's like
overly swole. Yeah.
It's like, what is this? Like, it doesn't. You don't look like The Rock.
Yeah, you don't look like The Rock.
So this looks weird. There's certain styles that just don't. It's all about your taste level of what you.
And if you could make it work as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all up to interpretation. If you like it, great.
Because if you like it, I love it. My opinion doesn't matter. Yeah.
But I have my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah, but you're in the.
But in my head, I'm gonna be like
driver's seat, so you could just say no.
What the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And getting it off is not easy.
Yeah.
So it's just there's people where I'm just like I always want to ask them what were you doing?
It's a lot of people I pass like that every day.
I'm not against tattoos at all. I love tattoos.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you're just like, why that one?
Yeah. The tattoos don't even bother me. It's just the overall actions in general.
Yeah.
That some people just really just make me ponder life, but that's what we're just supposed to be.
Well, yeah, and I'm a very visual. Obviously, with what I do, I'm a very visual person, so I'm very like,
I'm a people watcher for sure. Yeah,
okay.
Like,
what is this?
Yeah, that's my favorite noise. It's,
how are you doing?
Yeah.
What you went in and paid someone for that?
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Not that you got paid for that, but
you paid someone to do that. Going back to that kid who we were working with, I was just like, you paid someone for that.
Most of the time, too, if you have like a bad tattoo, you probably overpaid for it because if you have one bad tattoo, you probably have more than one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
there's
there's people, like I said, this is a very visual industry. Mm-hmm. And it's something where it's just inevitable that there's certain looks that work and certain ones that don't for what I envision as an artist to be aesthetically pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say that you don't like it. If you like it, then great, like you said.
Absolutely. It's subjective.
It's subjective.
Yeah.
But, doesn't mean you're going to be my subject.
Absolutely.
But you can do it whatever you want.
Subject wherever you fit in.
There's all kinds of things you can do.
Absolutely.
But there's definitely a type of person to do like the tribal thing, and I'm like, you're white as snow.
Yeah.
What tribe are you from?
Man, the Mayo.
You're from Ireland. It's like you're not from. Like,
yeah.
Go get like a something.
Yeah.
Don't just like just lift it from this.
Get you an American flag.
Well, that works too.
Shit.
My brother has one of those. I think he has some kind of something. It actually fits. It actually kind of works.
Ain't no wrong.
It's not done in a way that's like he went to Wikipedia and pulled.
Oh yeah.
Would they do that?
Because some people do that.
They just go to they just get like the flat.
And it's just
JPEG
the first thing that pops
and
up.
No one did any kind of like, okay, well let's kind of like manipulate it a little bit. Let's tweak it.
Make it our own. This is what you got.
And it's
flag
like
on that wall.
And it's like my favorite thing is when like the color's a little off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's got to violate some kind of flag code.
It's faded.
That's got to be.
The faded be killing me.
That might not be in any kind of law, but it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because that to me is like that should be right up there with like flag underwear. Yeah. Like all these people with this like I don't want to get into that, but I'm just like you eating American flag paper plates. You're literally throwing the flag away every time you eat dinner. Every 4th of July, you're throwing it away, and you don't care. Look in the mirror,
I feel like it's so.
It's like look in the mirror.
It's easier to talk about those people out west, I feel like, because they're not out here as much. But like,
Oh, they are.
Being
Yeah.
in the Midwest, like it's pretty saturated. East
The
Coast
thing
is
is,
saturated.
every type of person, no matter what, whether you're like that or you're like, you know, the complete opposite, you have stupid shit you do.
Oh, yeah.
That is hypocrite. Everyone.
Everyone.
I have things, I'm sure you do,
yeah.
where there's things that you're just, if you really took a step back and thought about it, you'd be like, oh, this is dumb.
Yeah, sometimes I just think I'm a dumbass every day. And it's just like, why am I doing that? What was I doing? What was I thinking? But
I think, yeah, when you're in something, you know, well, and like here, there's tons of things about LA that's stupid.
yeah,
Stupid.
yeah.
Plenty of things here.
Traffic.
Well, even more than that, there's tons of things like
Traffic
there's,
does
you know,
not make sense to me.
You know, like let's slow down for no reason on the freeway.
Just stop.
You know, let's all get on the freeway at 2 p.m. thinking we're going to beat the traffic, and then we're all on the freeway.
And it might be a homeless person who's walking in the middle of the freeway.
Or nothing.
Or nothing. Or accident.
There's plenty of times when it's nothing. And there's times when, you know, and there's just, and I think to myself, I go, there are people out in like the Midwest or in the South or in those places that actually get to where they want to go within the 15-minute period that it's set on map.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
15 miles should take 10 minutes.
And here, 15 miles takes 2.5 hours.
I drove 25 miles a day, and it took about an hour and a half.
And that was with no traffic.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So there's just things, and you know, how much time do we waste as people here in LA or in, you know, wherever? How much time of your life are you spend in a car? And how long do people who spend every morning for 2 hours in the car?
Oh my goodness.
And then 2 hours going home? That's 4 hours. That's going to Arizona or Vegas.
I'd lose it
every day.
Yeah. Chicago, I used to drive like that, going to school at EIU. I used to have to drive to Chicago, but at least it was like one straight shot.
And that's for a reason too.
Yeah.
You know, that's for a like I have to live at home or I'm living here, so I'm.
Yeah.
You know, I get that. But yeah, it's amazing. There's some things about LA that I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know,
Puzzling.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know, so as much as I can hate on any kind of person, which I can.
Yeah.
I got time.
Definitely.
But I could probably turn it around on myself too and be like, oh, you're kind of dumb.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things. There's plenty of things you do too that are stupid.
My patience is not. It's not helping LA. I'm definitely one.
Is it wearing you down?
Yeah, I'm one less.
The patience is a little less there. It's a little
Yeah.
more edgy.
One more unpatient person in LA.
There's more edge to your voice when you talk.
Definitely a little bit more of a inclination.
Well, you were saying that
tussle.
that Midwest innocence
Yeah.
is wearing away.
Yeah, it definitely might be.
But that's also could just be age.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
Just
believe me.
standing up for yourself and telling people like, look, like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah.
Period.
It's okay sometimes to tell people to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, yeah. And some people need to hear that.
Yeah. And,
They
you
need
know,
to
there's
hear
people that'll tell you things and you might not agree with it. And then you come back around later and go, yeah, that was probably good advice.
Oh yeah,
I didn't want to hear it.
definitely.
I'm sure Haley tells you something.
Oh yeah, she's full of good advice. Whether or not I want to hear it, she'll be the first one to tell you I do not listen well the first time. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that there's the, you know, but I think with age, as I approached like when I turned 29, I was like, oh,
I could calm down.
no, I feel like I'm like I it's not that I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten very good at just going, okay, well that's good for you,
Exactly.
and move on. I used to really want to like understand, okay, why are you stupid?
Yeah.
To me, you know, and they could be right, but in my head, I'm thinking, why are you?
Like, why?
Now
is
I'm just like, you know what? You think the sky's green? That's great.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
I might paint it green for you one day.
Have a nice day.
Exactly.
I have no interest in talking to you about why you think that you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because people have their own.
You think there's a nice wall? You know what? Get in a boat. Let me know.
Exactly.
Help you find it.
Exactly.
You know, I am not trying to hear
Too
or
much.
get involved in an argument. That's why I did this. I was like, I don't need to sit here and argue with you. I don't need to sit here and talk to someone that I need to argue with. I have friends or people who they love it.
Yeah.
They love to sit there and argue and play devil's advocate and do it. I'm just like, okay, if you're at the point in your life where you're arguing on behalf of someone who you don't even agree with,
you have
just for the sake of arguing,
too much free time, or you actually
exhausting.
love that.
It's exhausting.
They love that.
Go be a lawyer.
Yeah. My parents told me I should have been a lawyer, but when I think about it now, I think the older that I get, I probably just look at people. And maybe that's why I would be good being a lawyer, is just I would look at people until they shut up.
Yeah.
Then I'll speak.
Yeah.
Then I'll just give you the facts. But you can talk for 20, 40 minutes, unwinded, whatever you want to do, and I'll tell you the same thing.
I'm open to being wrong.
Oh, yeah. I know I'm wrong more times.
I'm just telling you, you're not right either.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, you're probably not right.
Yeah.
There's some middle thing over here.
Right.
We're
both wrong.
To me, this is just sitting down. The people that sit down for a living and debate and argue with people, I don't know how you do it.
Too much stress.
It's mental. It's like, how do you get into this
dominance
world where you bicker and argue and you're not even winning anything? And
but a headache.
Well, my favorite part is when it's the people that don't even have anything to do with the thing they're talking about.
Oh no, that's normally what people care most about.
You're not making any decisions.
Sports. I mean, that's just something just off the top. Is people go harder about sports and will argue to the death.
LeBron versus MJ versus Kobe versus
Someone got shot at the Alabama lost twice this season. How many times they lost? Someone was shot and killed. The hell?
Yeah.
Because over an argument, I'm 100% positive.
There was at Angel Stadium and Dodger Stadium. There was a different, not this year, but it was a couple of years ago. But it happened, I think, first at Dodger Stadium. Someone got shot in the parking lot or something like that, and then Angel Stadium, someone got beat half to death or something. I'm just like, okay, so, and I'm like, there is no game or anything worth getting that upset over.
No, it's not.
Like, ever.
It's not.
And if you are at that point in your life, you need to
stop coming outside, please.
You need to just go home, sit down, and rethink your life.
Do not come outside again.
Well, they're not now.
Yeah. They're going nowhere. Yeah.
Your ass in jail now. But
exactly.
That's not. I don't know. There's certain things that are just not worth. I can't imagine the kind of person to be at a baseball game or a football game and get into a physical fight with someone else. Why are you even talking to them? First of all, mind your own.
What did this start with?
When did people stop minding their own fucking business?
When did they start minding their own business?
But it's like, what the fuck?
I feel like more people can't mind their business than can.
I think it's the phone.
Yeah, it's just the hyper, I don't want to say arrogance, but just people think that they're living some type of reality show, and it's just
everyone
all
wants
about
to be
them.
A personality now.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be a character.
And
they want to be
cool.
There's these people that and I'm not going to point anything specific out because I don't need to, because there's all types of people.
Yeah.
Across every kind of spectrum, race, type, beliefs, whatever.
Yeah.
Whether it's sports or politics or whatever you're doing, there's people who just want to be famous.
Yeah. And they want to be right, and they want to be having the attention on them.
And it's more than even wanting the attention on them. They want the sympathy. They want the They want the look what happened to me.
My God, the pity.
Whereas I would be like, don't.
Yeah. I don't really like a lot of the attention on me. That's always been something.
When you're in a Target and you're throwing a fit or you're hitting a flight attendant, it's like these people are real people, breathing real people.
Yeah.
And it's COVID, that whole era, this whole time. I know people are on edge. I get that, but there's never a reason to scream at a busboy.
No. There's never a reason for that.
If your ranch dressing didn't come, or they're out of, onion rings.
No.
You don't need to scream at the waitress.
No, you really don't. That's LA for you, though.
I mean, I'm seeing it everywhere, and it's like.
It's scary,
There's
like, to
just
go
something-
outside because you feel like people are just gonna, like, I don't even want to go to concerts anymore because I feel like people are gonna make it.
That Astro World thing. I mean,
Yeah.
That in what world is that fun?
Yeah, apparently Astros World, because you wouldn't have caught me dead there. I was supposed to go to a Travis Scott concert probably like 3 or 4 years ago, and I think that somebody died at that concert in Chicago. But like,
So sad.
his concerts are like notorious,
Like, not
for,
safe.
Yeah,
I was talking to someone at a pretty big label. They were saying I don't go to concerts that don't have seats.
oh hell no.
They said if they don't have seats, like assigned seating, like
No.
say like a Staples Center,
Yeah.
I'm not going.
Mm-hmm.
They said I'm not going to a festival where you all go stand. I mean, that's the idea of that might be fun, where you're outside in a fair kind of situation. You're out in the warm summer night, and having a nice.
Without the variables, but
But in a vacuum, that sounds like, yeah, that'd be fun. We all go out and it's, I love the idea of a nighttime concert outside
Yeah.
and it's warm and you're enjoying
friends.
yourself and with friends. But the reality is you're packed in there like a sardine.
and
And you're-
everybody's
and
off.
those-
Lord knows what.
Those people being like pushed in and just, I mean, that's a horrible way to die.
I mean, the mosh pit, like, why is that even a thing? Like, why are you guys all collectively, like,
Yeah.
pushing people? Because for me personally, like, you're talking about somebody who won't fight. I'm going to whoop your ass if
Yeah.
it's people pushing me, like,
Yeah.
multiple people. We all have to fight in
Yeah.
the parking lot. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
But that's just how I've always been raised. I don't like to be touched. I don't really like my boundaries being pushed.
Yeah, not the right place then.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, like, I love concerts. I love going to Vegas for we have all kinds of people we work with for shows, or we're going to Staples Center, well, now whatever the hell it's called now, at Crypto.com Center, or that doesn't roll off the tongue at all, but
No.
going to a show like that, or going to an arena tour, or even like a Rose Bowl, like a big concert, like
Yeah.
a big stadium.
It's hard.
One of my favorite concerts ever was the Rihanna and Eminem, the
Yeah.
Monster Tour. It was out in the outside. But it was like there's still, it's controlled
Yeah.
and very
Controlled chaos.
Never felt unsafe
No.
at that show. Not even. And there's more people there.
But I mean, like, even like the Batman movie that was shot up, like, you just don't feel comfortable, like,
Yeah.
doing the same things. And with us being inside for so long, I feel like now,
Yeah.
like, the social meter's different because certain people are comfortable because they've been outside, and then certain other people, they haven't at all, and they're on edge.
Yeah.
And they've been looking for an opportunity to just get outside and perform.
And just do something.
Yeah, just do something, anything.
And it's like, I feel safe at like a Universal Studios or something like that. Being
Yeah.
outside, that's controlled.
Yeah.
Disneyland or something, it's fine.
Yeah.
But when it's that concert in particular, I mean, just the way they set it up is just
Yeah.
like there are so many people involved, and I know from experience, just from what I do,
That has to pass through, like, all these different...
there are hundreds of people involved in planning a concert like that.
So Travis Scott is definitely accountable, but before him, like,
There's a bunch of other people too,
it definitely is.
and I'm not,
He's gonna have to pay for it.
I'm amazed. When I heard that, I thought, okay, like, did someone, like, that's something that used to happen in England or
Like Woodstock.
or
Like,
Italy, when they had those
the hell?
big soccer matches with just masses of people, trampling each other.
Yeah.
And they instituted rules and ways of dealing with it. That was like in the 80s and stuff, 90s, and when they had those really tragic, like, I think it was a soccer match that had a really terrible situation that was very similar. People just getting stepped on until they died. And I'm like, how do you not have like some kind of
By
system?
now, yeah, like, I haven't been to a single event. Like, they say that you could, being from Chicago, they say that you can sneak into Lollapalooza, and I haven't been to a single event where I felt inclined enough to where, like,
Yeah.
I could actively sneak in there.
Yeah,
So
it's the festivals.
that's the first red flag.
For me, it's a festival. If it's a festival, I'm not going.
No.
If it's an artist concert at an arena with doors,
Yeah.
then we can talk.
Even Kanye's concert, though, like this past one that was
Yeah.
just in LA, like, that sort of made me nervous.
That's
I heard
big.
about it the night of,
Yeah,
but
it's big.
You never know what stage people
Yeah.
might try to use, whether it be big or small. Or try
Well,
to,
and even the artists, on the other side too, the artists have to be careful.
oh yeah, absolutely. I couldn't imagine
that's scary.
being an artist nowadays.
There
like,
really is nothing holding them back from running onto, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if everyone had the same idea,
yeah, they
there's
could
not enough
just
security there to
No.
keep back 80,000 people.
no.
You're out of your
Like,
mind.
you
You're basically hoping that everyone behaves themselves.
Yeah, or at least like 79,000 people do. Because if 10 people do, like
If 1,000 people stormed
Yeah.
the
the
stage, that would be incredible.
Yeah,
That's a lot of people. It's a high
Yeah.
school,
literally.
you know. So like that's not good.
No.
And that's
Not good.
it's changed the way you know
You
you go
interact.
about things. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go to the beach. I'll go to, you know, we went to Disneyland for fun for a couple months ago, and that was fun. It was empty.
Yeah, bad.
I was like, oh, this is nice. It's like the
Literally.
90s.
Exactly.
You know, this is like, there's nobody here. It was empty. We
Yeah.
walked on stuff. Universal Studios was the same way.
Yeah.
We walked on things. I had never been, and because they had started doing that whole like e-ticket thing where you're in line, but you're online in line. So they started making it so you check in on your phone, and then you go walk around. And then when you're ready, when you're it's like being on the phone when you're on the phone and you're in line,
And then you're
but they call you
all-
back.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like you, in a lot of cases now, you're in line and then you come back at 8:15 and then they just let you on, and you go right to the front, get right on, and you're done.
That's how it
So
should be.
you go do something else, you go walk, you go get something to eat, you wait till your time, and then you go up and there do it. You're not standing in line for 3.5 hours waiting for something. You know, that was great. I was like, whoa, this is actually one thing to come out of COVID that was great. They revamped the way they do everything.
Yeah, and it's like terrible things like this that have to happen in order for
Yeah.
us to like think a certain way. Because myself personally, I've always just carried simple things like hand sanitizer, but a lot of people are just dirty as hell.
You know, that was the first red flag to me.
Yeah,
was when
everyone started buying hand sanitizer. Like,
no, when I had friends that were like shocked that washing your hands would help prevent the spread of a disease.
I thought that we learned
Any
that,
disease.
like
The flu, cold, anything.
in third grade, where they
I
like,
thought so, but
had
we
those
didn't.
little diagrams.
I thought so, but they didn't. I had two friends distinctly that were shocked. They were like, "Oh, well, you well, like they're saying just like to wash your hands longer." Longer? I'm like, "What do you mean longer?" Like
you
not the
doing?
little rinse with water and like you pat your hands and you're done.
Literally.
That's not washing your hands.
That's not washing your hands.
You
at
know.
all. And you know,
God
I-
forbid you
Did
used
something
COVID
else.
to go for a walk or something, but like let alone like just wash your hands was controversial. Oh boy, I knew we were in for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, like it created a lot of issues that were like racial, just like spatial, health-wise, and there are
Spatial.
things that need to be like
Addressed.
like
Spatial.
a long time ago. Everyone should have always been standing 6 feet away from me, and I think that anyone who
Yeah.
knows me knows that everyone should be standing 6 feet
Well,
away
but
from
no,
me.
that is a good point because
Why the hell-
I'm sure you have this exact experience, and I'm sure there's fucking thousands of people that have the same experience as me, where you're online at you know the Target or wherever you're at, and you're putting your card in, and you can already feel the person behind you like moving in.
Like,
Yeah. And then you're done, and you're just trying to put your stuff back in your wallet, like,
Literally.
and they're like right here,
yeah.
and you're just like, fucking excuse me,
Can I get a second? Just a second.
and just trying to grab the bag, and also and they're like moving in, like that even, and people are doing that now again, and I'm
Again.
like, fucking get.
Even with the stickers on the floor.
I'm like, I'm not.
on there's
Look,
stickers
with
on the
my,
floor.
I had gotten it. I had gotten the thing, the disease. It was a very unpleasant couple weeks, but
Yeah.
I have a little bit of asthma, so it was kind of not surprising.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the thing, the vaccine because of the all the international travel I do. So I was like, I'm gonna have to. I'm not trying to deal with all that, like I said earlier, and so I'm not in any way nervous or concerned. There's I already experienced it. But I expected people to at least be somewhat like, I'm not going to crowd you at a grocery store when you're leaving. I'm putting my stuff away. I'm going, don't just like stand 6 inches away from or less, like almost pushing me away, like move it.
Literally.
I'm like, it just stopped beeping. I'm just putting my card in. God forbid I'm paying cash and I'm trying to collect my change.
Literally.
People are just the worst when it comes to space. They've always been the worst when it comes to space.
Yeah. I've never really, I've never understood it.
And it's not like in a sense where like you're in New York and you're on the subway and it's packed.
Yeah.
That just is what it is.
It's room out here. Like it's always going to be room.
Or you're in Japan and there's just a billion people shoved into shoving people into the train, literally. Yeah, I mean, that's a situation where you can't help it. You're going to be arm to arm with people, and I'm not like going to be all, but we're one of 3 people in this grocery store, and you're pushing in on me.
That's what I'm saying, and I feel like even like I can explain like, oh, I'd be mad at a concert, like in a mosh pit, but like in the club, like I was never like normally mad, like because I'm expecting for
it's
people.
Busy. You know what you're expecting.
But like it's just certain environments that just
annoy the shit out of you.
You do not need to be on people like that ever. And that goes for like men on men, women on women, men standing next to women. Like just it doesn't take that much to make someone else feel like that much more comfortable. And
don't put your cart in front of you and push me either.
Oh my god.
That's the other thing. It's the same thing to me. Back it up.
Literally. Because that is a thing.
That's like, oh well, I'm not really close to you. Get.
You and your cart need to be 3 feet.
Yeah.
I need 3 feet.
Yeah. No, I agree.
At minimum.
I just think it's people just don't have a.
They weren't raised right.
Yeah, and I always try and be like I'm like, well, but like sometimes you're just like, man, just want to be in a bad mood.
I feel like most of the people I'm around out here, like especially LA, it's not a lot of kids out. Well,
like I have a niece and a nephew now who are like 1 and 0. Like he's like, I don't know how, he's like 6 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And they're cute. They're adorable. I'm not, kid wise, I used to be really good with kids. Now I'm not so good with kids. I don't know what happened. Mm-hmm. Somewhere when I taught swim lessons in college, I lost it. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was when that little girl threw up on me. I don't know.
Oh man.
I taught private swim lessons when I was way young. And somewhere in there I lost my kid thing, but
it's not hard to, I can imagine.
But anyway, they're cute. They're cute kids. Mm-hmm. And they're substantially cuter than other people's kids in the grocery store or at the restaurant, or like there's just something about that where it's like, I don't want you like right up on me. It's weird. Yeah. Please get your kid. Like, yeah. It's just, it's like, because it's like, it must be hard to be raising young kids and having to deal with them being walking age and that. So I have that kind of like, on one hand, but then on the other hand, I'm like, oh, get away from me.
But sometimes, like, no offense, but like, sometimes like kids are like some of like the nastiest members in like a household, like just by default. And I don't want, sorry, like your nasty ass kid, I just don't want your kid like
the
fall
like
up on me. Yeah.
You're and just like, oh god,
they're running around.
Whatever you're giving me, it's gotta have it's gonna be flu.
And it came from your parents.
Something, man.
It came from your parents.
I don't need to be, oh man. There's like, I'll never forget that being that was just, I'll never forget that kind of like being in line and having kids behind you. And
I don't think you have to feel bad about that.
You hear them sneezing.
That's not your kid.
It's not that you could feel it, but you almost can feel it. Because they're just...
And they don't wear masks.
And it's just like, well, even before that, way back, and it's just like, they're just little germ carriers. Yeah. That's my view on kids.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure that's not the most like diplomatic way to say it, but ugh.
It is what it is. Like, I love the kids that reside in my family. Everyone else's kids, I just feel like
That shouldn't be controversial to say.
No, and it shouldn't. I don't have a problem saying it at all.
You know, it's like, oh.
Yeah, and everyone else's kids, I have to assume that they're strangers.
Yeah.
Just like the strangers who raised them to
Right.
me. So just keep a distance, period.
Or just don't sneeze at me.
Yeah,
Just
wipe your nose, little boy.
back it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I guess I'd prefer that to some grown-ass man sneezing on me. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
because I can justify a child.
He doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
You know better.
Now, we got a problem, so.
So, all right, man. Tell everybody your name again, your
Name at.
Tell them where to find you.
Okay, man. My name is Tynan Leachman. Once again, my @ is the same. From Chicago, turning 25 this weekend.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah, I am so grateful for everything. Once again, thank you for
No,
having
you
me.
don't have to. No, thank you.
Stop it. Thank you for having me. Thank you for all this. Just very grateful.
No, of course.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, goodbye, everyone.
All right.
See you later.
Thank you.
All right. Cool.